Hello, this is Starshot, here to welcome you back to another Let's Play of Legend of Heroes. We last left off exploring all of Floor 1 in its entirety, but then we moved on to Floor 2 only to discover an elevator that led back to Floor 1 to find a treasure chest that had a super weapon for Agate. But now that we've gotten that taken care of, we'll be heading back to Floor 2 and more exploring there. So let's go ahead and get started. Well, yeah, for the most part, I'm not certain just how big this dungeon is. It's probably the biggest one out of any of the previous places we've been to before. So it will take a while to explore. And as I said, I would like to get new weapons for all the heroes here. And we're still missing some for Elise, or Estelle, I'm not sure why I was forgetting her name, Joshua and Tita. And with the no encounters we have currently equipped, we can avoid any battles that we don't want to go into right now. And just focus on the treasure chest battles, which there seems to be plenty of. You have found the ultimate treasure, air. Well, that's actually quite inventive and sort of true since we needed to breathe and survive and all that. But yeah, so floor 2 is looks to be pretty expansive, of course. I'll be curious to see when we get to that one area of a treasure chest that I saw before in the previous episode. Since for the most part, there isn't really too much to do in these dungeons other than battles and searching for treasure chests. Like another terror bomb. Way to be thorough, hero. Oh, thank you. I always like to be thorough in whatever I do for the most part. Okay, so now we're on the 3rd floor, but if the elevator that took me to the 1st floor is any indication, then I'm guessing there will be another one to the 2nd floor again. So that's, I guess, what I'll be looking for, because I didn't see any other paths on the way over to that one that I didn't take. Yeah, like here we go. Yep, here we go, back to floor 2. So definitely a bit of up and down for this dungeon here. A lot more expansive. Oh, and there's that chest we saw in the beginning. Let's see if it's anything special. Yep, it's something special, alright. Whenever there's monsters in it, you know it's something worth fighting for. And dealing with all the crap that comes from these giant judges. Photon judges, I think they're called. And so, main plan, of course, is to just focus on the big guys and the guard, and the support units, since they're the ones who can heal and all that. And I guess it would be good if I could get Joshua's ult off, his ultimate move here, but of course I want to do it with a critical, which it looks like there is one we can make use of in not too long. So let me just go ahead and do a regular attack on the judge here. And then after him... Oh wow, he missed. All because Joshua moved. But yeah, let's see if we can... This critical can hopefully take care of a few of these bots. Oh good, it took care of all the guard units. So now all we have to do is deal with the judges, and that'll be that for this battle. So let's see. Well, yeah, I guess if I were to kind of judge, like, because we're not quite done with the game just yet, but we're pretty close to the end. So, I guess I would want to kind of judge this game on, like, compared to the other games I've played before, of course, because what else do I have to do, or sometimes when you're in the middle of a battle that doesn't require too much more thought than what we've already done. So, like, I guess as I've probably been mentioning all throughout these videos, the dialogue and story I think are some of the best in any game I've ever played. Like, I think discounting visual novels, I've played a few here and there. You know, but discounting them, because when you think about an RPG, or when you think about a visual novel, all it is pretty pictures and story. So if it doesn't have a good story, then you probably shouldn't really be making a visual novel. But with an RPG, you could get away with a lackluster story as long as you had a decent premise and some solid combat. You know, and for the most part, this game itself, I think the dialogue is what really sells it. You know, the characters are well developed, they have interesting things to say, they actually have fun with it, they're not serious all the time, which I think is important, because I do feel like there are some games that are serious enough as it is. They don't need, like when the world's at stake, or a country's at stake, or something's at stake, it's probably, you don't really need to be serious all the time, because being serious all the time is boring, and gets tiring after a while. And we already live in a world where we have to be serious plenty of the time. When we're dealing with our jobs, our homes, home lives, our relationships and all that. Well, at least I got one judge down. So the dialogue is definitely great. You know, they have fun with it, they have funny things to say, they have interesting characters. The overall story of it, I think, is really good as well. Like, you start off just as a small town, you know, monster exterminator, or just helping out around, you know, just on the side missions and things like that. So you kind of get a sense of the area and kind of what it's about. You're not worried about saving the world from an ultimate evil, or trying to stop an evil dictator from conquering the world. So I think that's very refreshing to have, because a lot of games really like to make use of that as an overall conflict, instead of just, you know, this world definitely feels like a real world. I think that's probably its strongest part of this game. The combat, as we're kind of playing through right now, I think it's solid. Like, it works. You know, there's not too much, it's not too hard, there's plenty of customization options, so you kind of can create the party you want, or play how you like. You can be super aggressive, you could be, you know, all magic based. You can, you know, play as little or as much as you want of the combat as well. You know, you can play as, you know, and so the combat itself, I think, is solid. Like, it's not the best RPG combat I think I've seen. Like, I think some of the best I've personally played. This is just my own opinion. I usually like the combat systems that require timed hits, because the strategy is always important, but it can be difficult to kind of get that strategy to kind of work without, you know, just reusing the same one over and over and over again. I guess the Persona series I found is pretty good for that. But it looks like we found Thor's hammer, but no one in my party uses hammer. Maybe it's a cannon, who knows. Reduce the searching empty chests. That's really sad. Not really searching though. Well, let's go ahead and see what it is. Okay, yeah, it's her new weapon. An ancient orbital weapon that fires powerful energy bursts. Well, that's really nice, since, you know, 260 to 290, that's at least a 33 increase. So, with that taken care of, I guess that should be most of floor 2 now. So now we can just focus on the 3rd level here and see what else we can find. Because we're still missing Joshua and Estelle's weapon. Because I think we already got everyone, all the missing parties items except for Chloe's. I think Chloe's the only one we don't have her weapon yet. But let's see. Yeah, I think I go this way. Yep, 3rd level hall. So I think this is our next base of operations that we can make use of, like we did do on the 1st floor. Oh, and it looks like we have a boss battle to deal with. Ah, crap, I should have healed. I figured you'd come. Captain Thea. What the hell are you doing here? You were out cold at the Garden Terrace. Ha! You actually thought I'd be so easily defeated? Though it seems that Grancel Castle has been taken. It's no matter though. Once His Excellency retains the Shining Ring, it can be retaken at any time. You must be joking. You don't ever learn, do you? You're more like a snake than a vixen. Enough! If nothing else, I will not permit you to interfere with the Colonel. To me, arcanisms? I think that's how it's said, but holy crap. Whoa! You're using the ancient machines? We don't care for being so casually underestimated. We've already collected an incredible amount of data since our survey here began. Even controlling these arcanisms is easily within our grasp. If technology like that is real, then there has to be a better way of using it. Say whatever you wish. Now, come on! Well, she definitely has better soldiers helping her out this time, doesn't she? But let's see. It's called a Gundal. A mechanized droid that guards ancient ruins. Calls for backup if it sustains damage. Oh, isn't that just basic? And then we have Amelia here who, you know, has many skills with which to torment her opponents. So, but for now I'll try to, okay, there's not much, okay, so I can hit here, but I'm not sure if these Gundals will move much or not. So I'll give it a try. Okay. I guess they haven't gained full control over them quite yet. By the looks of things. So that should help us in the long run at least. And apparently she steals EP from us too, which is really annoying. Okay, yeah, so it's not as dire as I first thought it could have been. But we still should probably try to make use of any criticals we come across in terms of, or I guess we have some spells being hit with this, so I think that works out just fine. Since they always cover a lot more area than otherwise. Sadly, they can't be petrified though, but that's usually been my experience. So we got one that's getting close. But yeah, we should probably try to focus on her a bit just so that she stops stealing from us. And since it makes her a target for at least for that confused Gundal. Yeah, her absorbing is getting really annoying here. Probably better off just trying to do some regular attacks on them at this point, since she keeps stealing our EP. And these Gundals, I guess, aren't as menacing as you might think they are. At least with all the treasure chests we've gone after. I think all those battles really did help level us up to enough so that we don't have to worry about getting easily killed here. And that it looks like she's the biggest problem for us right now. Out of anyone here. Since those two are sort of off doing their own thing now, we can just focus on her and not worry about anything. But yeah, so I guess the rest of how I would judge this game, you know, let's see, I guess the next step would be the art style. And I guess for the most part, the art style, I think itself is fairly well done. Like, nothing's overly exaggerated, but it's still very distinctive in how they look. And it still seems fairly clean, even though this game's like, you know, originally came out like 2003 or something. I would have to check my dates again. But like, you know, this game is fairly old, and yeah, it still looks pretty nice, especially with the few updates they've probably given it. Uh-oh. Okay, they've now called for backup, and now we're dealing with an M-Series Doom. Uses arts, may self-destruct. Oh, that's just lovely, isn't it? It looks like Joshua here does have a critical, but let's see. I guess I'll use Scheherazade, since she's kind of at max here for the critical. And use it on her, of course, just so that we don't have to worry about her stealing our EP anymore. Oh, that's quite interesting. You know, having that taken care of for us. But let's go ahead and make use of this critical here. And I guess I'll use it to take out this Gundal here, since he's pretty low right now. And we'll want to take care of these two first, just so that they don't call for any more backup. So the art style, I would give, you know, a pretty good grade. I guess the dungeon layouts, or just the textures, I think the dungeon layouts themselves, or the level design, would be the next thing to critique. And I do feel like maybe that's somewhat lacking a little. Let's see. I'll go ahead and do a EP-EX, since we got plenty of these right now. And I guess I'll go ahead and give it to Joshua, since he's getting a bit low, and we like using his spells a lot. Okay, so there's Titanic Roar, which is pretty much a super earth attack that can hit everything. Oh, I wish I could learn that one. I don't know if I can learn that one. But let's kind of just focus on taking care of these guys and make sure they don't call for any more backup while we try to also get some healing in. Let me go ahead and move a bit closer so we have a better area spot for Estelle to heal with us with. Well, she's kind of out, so I should probably give her something as well. Okay, I did not realize the poison would be enough to kill her. I figured she would still have enough HP, but I guess not. Okay, so I should probably just go ahead and revive her first. Since thankfully we do have a few of these reviving bombs on us, so We want to make sure everyone gets their XP, since that's always important. But let's see, so the level designs, I think, could use a bit more work. Actually, he's confused, so we don't want to really worry about him. But he's gonna probably kill her at this point, so let me go ahead and do a heal item here. No, it's actually following him, so... Okay, so thankfully everyone survived that. I should probably go ahead and just take him out just in case, because even confused, he could do something we wouldn't like him to do. I still have way too many items or recipes that I should probably make use of or something. But yeah, so I guess the level design, I think, could use a bit more work for the dungeons. Like, I think the areas that they were in were just fine, were fairly nice and for what they were doing. You know, gave you plenty of stuff to explore and look around while still kind of giving you an area to do. But the dungeons themselves, I thought, were a bit lackluster or sometimes confusing in how they were textured. Oh, let me... I should probably just heal here instead. Let's see how good of an attack is. Well, if it hits, we might actually see something good, but... And then let me go ahead and heal her, just in case, since she's pretty low. And let's see, what else? And I guess the last thing to critique for the game would be the music, which I think the music is pretty solid. They have very sweeping, distinct tracks. They have different, music themes to kind of fit each situation. And I've always found Falcom to do really well when it comes to their music. I usually kind of comment on how good the music is for Ys, but Legend of Heroes has some pretty good soundtracks as well. So, I guess overall I would give this game a 90 out of 100. Or if I were to go off of a more distinct rating system, I would definitely say, finish it. You don't have to complete it. Like, that's kind of up to people who really do want to do everything, but I think you should at least finish the game itself. That's at least how I would rate it. I kind of like the idea of a wording rating system. Try to kind of say what it is you want to do for the game, because that kind of gives more of an idea of what you should do with it, not just how good it supposedly it is, because I think how good it is to me might be different for you or for someone else. Well, that's just my own opinion. I think she's really out of it this time. Yeah, I don't think she'll be moving for a while. But more importantly, since she was guarding this area, this is probably the way we need to go. Yeah, you're right. Okay, I'll get Sig to call the others. Hey, Sig! Scree! I was able to use that orbital reaction from before to calculate the size of these ruins. But it looks like we've only at around the halfway mark. Phew, well at least there's that much covered. I know we can't just rush ahead, but I'm getting impatient. Yeah, if we try to rush things, we'll likely just wind up lost. If we have to take it slow and steady. Indeed, just hang in there. We want to be as well prepared as possible when it comes time to confront the Colonel. And we can also heal up here without using up any items, which is always nice. And we got our friend here who's knocked out and at least being guarded by the others. So let me go ahead and take a quick look over the path we didn't take, just to see if there's anything there. No, just a dead end like before. But yeah, so this looks like a good spot as any. So join us next time as we explore the second half of the area and see if we can get the weapons for Estelle and Joshua. Until then, have fun gaming.